and stuff, I have to make sure that the pick guard lines up right with the pickup pockets and the neck pocket, and I mark the holes where it lines up. Next, I have to pick out some of the corners of the pickup cavities because they don't really line up. They push the whole thing out of alignment a little bit because the corner radii in the blind corners are not exactly the same size. So there's 2 or 3 of them I have to pick out a little bit so that the pickup cover slides into the right spot and has the appropriate amount of movement around it, and everything else does too. It's not much, but it needs to be where it can be centered. And so does the pick guard. The bridge pickup has to line up on the edge of the cavity with the pick guard. They match perfectly, but you have to pick out the corners so that it all fits together. And we're marking the holes, and we're putting in the pickup covers and making sure they all fit in there. I got a little tiny old gouge there. I'm digging out the corner and kind of resizing the radii. If I had the appropriate or smaller sized router bit, I would probably work better on a couple of those corners. Most of the radii were fine with the size of the bearing on the router bit that I used. But it just made it so that a couple of the corners needed to be picked out. Now here's the trim, and so we're going to mark that. The holes for that, of course, I somehow managed to lose the screws for it, so I had to buy other screws. Here we are going to finish picking out that corner. There's something about it I don't like. And they're going to the pickup covers each have 4 lugs, but you can only see 2 of them because on each, because the pick guard covers them. It would be the middle one. And then we're checking, making sure that everything will fit and everything's all lined up. As it turned out, the templates looked like they were probably made from a guitar that used small pots, like an import guitar or something, because I had to gouge out and pretty greatly increase the size of the pockets where the pots went. The tone and volume pots were binding the sides hard, so I really had to open that up to get them to fit. And one of the switches too. So that I had to do after it was painted, and I went to go do a pre-assembly with the hardware mounted to the pick guard. My next video is probably going to have the wiring done in it. That should make for a spectacularly funny video because I'm terrible at wiring. I'm probably almost just as bad at wiring as I am at painting, and I'm a terrible painter. But I'm also a glutton for punishment, so if I figure out how to do all this and it works the first time, I'm probably, I'm not going to say I'm an expert at wiring, but I'm probably getting a good idea of what's going on there. So here I am, breaking the corners and all the holes so that they're clean. Put the little thing away again, and then, so now we're going to do a little sanding. We're going to break the corners and all the pockets, clean off the tops of the screw holes, and go around the sides. I'm pretty blind, apparently. It looks like it's, I get it all sanded up nice and smooth, and it's all good looking, and then I spray paint the primer, a little blast of primer, and all of a sudden I can see every flaw like it's under a magnifying glass. But we'll try and move onward and upward, and probably going to try and set up a paint area on the side of my house by the garbage cans where there's a little bit of a dead end from the wind. I have to paint early in the morning when there's no breeze and nobody around. And I do have a compressor, and I will probably get a regular paint sprayer and set up a rotisserie rig. That should be pretty simple and cheap. And get a nice Harbor Freight paint sprayer for that. I did not film any of the priming or painting or clear coating any of this. I completely neglected to film any of it. I'm terrible at it. I think the paint job's terrible. If the guitar, you know, plays great enough, I'll never think of the paint job again. But and I'm not gonna. When it comes to paint, I'm just not going to keep doing it over and over again until it's perfect. It's not a work of art. It's not going to be commercially sold or anything like that. So we are just going to use Bondo and rattle cans of paint for this one. And it is what it is. I think it'll be a decent looking guitar, and I think it'll play out good, but I've got to focus more on getting the neck done. The scratch neck and getting the wiring done, and the neck is the next big thing. But the body is essentially at the point where this is going to be published on YouTube. The body is essentially complete. I've struggled badly with these videos, and I've kind of got a handle on it now and figured out some stuff. And I think there's a reason everybody does a nice intro and then a fast motion action montage, and then a closing statement where you tell them what's going to happen next time, and I like that, and I'm going to try and follow that format as much as possible, because I think that's likely doable for me. This is and I also am going to commandeer my son's iMac that he's not using, and that should be much better than this Windows computer I commandeered that nobody was using. It's a nice computer, the touch screen and everything, but it's just not able to run these high-powered softwares, even though it's only about 3 or 4 years old. But the iMac is much newer and probably will work better. At least I'm going to try it. But anyhow, I appreciate you watching, if you stayed this far along, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.